Welcome to our Fall 2021 Adult Titles Preview. We are Macmillan's Library Marketing Department. I'm Talia, and I'm joined by Amanda, Emily, and Samantha. Get to know us. Here are all the various ways you can get in touch with us. We love hearing from you, so please reach out with many questions, many questions, concerns, virtual hugs, pictures of your dogs or cats. Get Macmillan e-galleys. If you'd like to download our e-galleys on Edelweiss, here's how. The instructions can also be found on our website. Be sure to check out our candid reviews of YA titles at Days YA on our website. Do you love genre fiction, or are you ready to try something new? Check out Genre for All on the website for exclusive content, giveaways, recommendations, and more, all focused on fantasy, sci-fi, romance, and horror. Happy Half Hour is our weekly book talking series airing every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern, where we highlight 4 upcoming adult and YA titles. And once a month, we'll be joined by guest authors. S.A. Cosby on April 26th, Greg Hurwitz on May 3rd, and Alice Feeney on June 7th. And now, for the blockbuster best-selling titles coming this fall. I'll run through them pretty quickly because you better know these authors already. Starting with Leon Moriarty's Apples Never Fall. The #1 New York Times best-selling author is back, and this time she wants to know, if your mother was missing, would you tell the police? The Madness of Crowds by Louise Penny. Inspector Gamache returns to Three Pines. Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney. We are so excited to have Sally Rooney join Macmillan. Beautiful World, Where Are You is about the devoted friendship between 2 women, their lives, loves, families, and ambitions, with parallel romances that are never sentimental or sappy, but are cut with a bittersweet reality. Conversations with Friends and Normal People were massive bestsellers, and Beautiful World, Where Are You may just be Sally Rooney at her best. Three Sisters by Heather Morris. Best-selling author of The Tattooist of Auschwitz and Silka's Journey is back with another story of family, courage, and resilience inspired by real life. Crossroads by Jonathan Franzen. Here, Franzen launches a trilogy patterned after Elena Ferrante's beloved Neapolitan novels and tracks the Hildebrand family of New Prospect, Illinois across 3 generations. And now, An Abolitionist's Handbook, 12 Steps to Changing Yourself and the World by Patrice Cullors. Patrice is the author of When They Call You a Terrorist. She's the co-founder of the Black Lives Matter movement, and she's an inspiring public speaker. Here she offers an essential guidebook on being a modern-day abolitionist. Filled with love, fierce compassion, and precision, Patrice teaches readers how to have effective conversations, make space for difficult feelings, practice forgiveness, and much, much more. This is for anyone looking to reimagine a world filled with dignity, care, and respect. Please watch our amazing interview with Miss Cullors. You can see the link on the slide.
Okay, next is The Last House on Needless Street by Katrina Ward. This is a gripping psychological horror about the lengths we'll go to protect ourselves from dark truths. For fans of Gone Girl and The Haunting of Hill House, this tells the story of a boarded-up house lived in by a family of 3. We have a teenage girl who doesn't go outside under any circumstances, a man who drinks to ignore the gaps in his memory, and a cat who naps and reads the Bible. If you think you can figure out the twist in any book, Katrina Ward will prove you wrong with this one. If you don't trust us, listen to Stephen King, who said, "The buzz building around Katrina Ward's Last House on Needless Street is real. I've read it and was blown away. It's a true nerve shredder that keeps its mind-blowing secrets to the very end. Haven't read anything this exciting since Gone Girl." My Monticello by Jocelyn Nicole Johnson. This groundbreaking debut takes inspiration from real life in each of the characters' stories, largely the overall violence of white America on Black and brown bodies. For readers of The Vanishing Half, Trust Exercise, and The Topeka School, this is the story of people fighting to survive in America, including a university professor devoting himself to the study of racism, a Nigerian widower who immigrates to a meager existence, a young mixed-race woman who adopts a new tongue and name to escape the rural South, and a single mother who seeks salvation through buying a house ahead of the apocalypse. Set in a near future with a diverse group of Charlottesville neighbors fleeing white violent supremacists, My Monticello shows the relentless struggles against reality and fate. The Ballerinas by Rachel Kapelke Dale is a stunning debut with page-turning suspense all about the world of ballet. Sharp and feminist, The Ballerinas invites readers to get an inside look into the intensity of the art and the illusion of the beauty that must be preserved. Set in Paris, The Ballerinas evokes romance and elegance. It is a timely and provocative with themes such as the complexities of friendships, sexual politics, and a Me Too-inspired scandal. The author lives in Paris and is a former ballerina, so is extremely connected to the world that she writes about. This is perfect for fans of Black Swan, The Wife Between Us, and with a twist like that from Big Little Lies. Entertaining Race, Performing Blackness in America by Michael Eric Dyson, the New York Times bestselling author of Tears We Cannot Stop. From one of America's most enduring voices comes a book for everyone, from sports fans to activists to churchgoers, that celebrates the outsized impact of African American culture and politics on America and includes never before seen material, from sermons to the eulogy for Aretha Franklin. Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune. This is the New York Times and USA Today bestselling Lambda Literary Award-winning author of The House in the Cerulean Sea. This is a hilarious, romantic, and charming contemporary fantasy about a ghost who refuses to cross over and the ferryman he falls in love with. At his funeral, Wallace Price is picked up by the Reaper and ends up at a tea shop owned by Hugo, whose side hustle is playing ferryman to souls who need to cross over. When Wallace meets Hugo, though, he falls in love and is determined to experience what he never experienced in real life in the 7 days he has left. Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. Every year of marriage is another year of secrets, and Adam and Amelia have now racked up 10 years of both. An anniversary celebration at a remote venue in the Scottish Highlands seems like the perfect way to reconnect, but instead leaves their relationship unrecognizable. Feeney excels at twisty plots and complex relationships, as we saw in her previous novel, in His and Hers. And I hope you'll all be able to join us or watch our conversation with her on June 7th, and the link is on the screen. Okay, next is LA Weather by Maria Amparo Escandon. This is a funny, fast-paced story of an affluent Mexican-American couple who announced their impending divorce after nearly 40 years of marriage, forcing their 3 grown daughters to take a hard look at their own disjointed relationships. It is the perfect combination of Big Little Lies, Emma Straub's All Adults Here, and The Desperate Housewives. It's the sort of joyful commercial drama from a Latina author your readers have been wanting, and it will be great for book clubs as it asks questions about family, romantic relationships, and one's station in both. Sleepless by Rami Hassman is the exciting, mind-bending second novel from the author of Dear Child, which had 3-star reviews and was an Indie Next pick. After being released from prison, Nadia wants nothing more than to live a normal life, but then one of her new friends kills her lover and begs for Nadia's help. The 2 women make for a remote house in the woods, the perfect place to bury a body, but their plan quickly falls apart and Nadia finds herself outplayed, a pawn in a bizarre game in which she is both the perfect victim and the perfect murderer. This twisty thriller will be great for readers of The Escape Room and Sandy Jones. Light from Uncommon Stars by Rika Aoki. This tells a very personal, intimate, and relatable own voices story about what it's like to grow up transgender that is good omens with a Faustian bargain. It's about a brilliant violinist who must win her soul back from damnation by condemning 7 other souls of students she takes on. But the last soul is a transgender runaway with a wild talent, and they, along with a retired starship captain now running a donut shop, must escape their fates, find their voices, and save the universe. This is a beautiful story of friendship and love that is both delightful yet heartbreaking. The Heron's Cry by Anne Cleeves. This is the extraordinary follow-up to Library Read's Pick the Long Call, the first in her 2 Rivers series. This time, Detective Matthew Venn is called to a murder scene at a rural artist's home, and the murdered man, well, he had been investigating a suicide in the local area weeks before his own death, and then another man is found dead, and the heat intensifies. Longtime fans of Anne Cleeves will love this one, along with readers of The Night Swim and The Bitter Roots. Filled with intrigue and murder, Anne Cleeves is once again a mystery master. Slewfoot by Brahm, the well-known fantasy artist who now brings us a straightforward horror tale of magic and witchcraft with stunning and stunningly creepy illustrations. In Connecticut, 1666, A Deal with the Devil ignites a battle between pagan and Puritan, one that threatens to destroy an entire village and leaving nothing but ashes and bloodshed in their wake. Mor'du by Alex Phoebe is the first in an inventive epic fantasy trilogy where God is dead and his corpse is hidden in the catacombs beneath the city of Mor'du. The master of Mor'du gains power by feeding off the corpse, but his new apprentice has power greater than the master has ever known, if he can learn how to use it. This is an astonishing story about betrayals, secrets, and vendettas in the city where God was murdered and darkness reigns.
The Guilt Trip by Sandy Jones, the author of best-selling novel Library Reads Pick and Reese Witherspoon's Hello Sunshine book club pick, The Other Woman, returns with the story of six friends, three couples, whose lives are upended at a destination wedding when all the secrets they've been keeping bubble to the surface. Sandy Jones is becoming the queen of fast-paced domestic suspense, and this addictive read will be great for fans of Lucy Foley's The Guest List and Ruth Ware's One by One. Next is Her Honor, a judge's candid look at our legal system by Ladoris Hazard Cordell. This eye-opening memoir from Judge Ladoris Hazard Cordell, now retired, combines her fascinating personal story with a necessary primer on the complex, increasingly troubled American judicial system. Next slide. These Silent Woods by Kimmy Cunningham Grant is a suspenseful read with a coming-of-age backdrop about a young girl living in the wilderness. Fans of Where the Crawdads Sing and the 12 Lives of Samuel Hawley will love the unforgettable characters and fierce father-daughter relationship that make up the center of this novel. It's not a typical thriller. It is a complex story of morality, loyalty, and sacrifice. Next, Tell Me How to Be by Neil Patel is a debut novel that follows a middle-aged Indian mother and her gay son as they try to reconcile the choices of their past and figure out how to be in the world. Like the protagonist, Neil Patel is a first-generation Indian American, the son of a successful doctor, child of an arranged marriage, and a gay man, lending incredible authenticity to this story of what it means to come out as gay within the Indian American community. This novel delves into themes of family, identity, belonging, ambition, and love that make it perfect for book club discussion. There is even a hilarious book club subplot within the novel. Next slide. Heard It in a Love Song by Tracy Garvis Graves is Daisy Jones and the Six because it deals with the power of music to speak to our souls, is What You Wish For because it's what happens when you take a chance on love, is The Giver of Stars because it's captivating storytelling with humor and depth. Layla is recently divorced, lonely, and thinking about her glory days as lead singer of a band. Josh is a single dad whose daughter's music teacher is, guess who? Layla. Meet Cute or What? Next slide. The Neighbor's Secret by L. Allison Heller. L. Allison Heller makes her thriller debut with The Neighbor's Secret, but we still get her complex female relationships. This gripping and juicy novel asks the question, how well do you really know your neighbors? It features a book club that meets once a week for book talks, gossip, and cocktails. The members feel secure that the twisty and murderous thrillers that they read could never take place in their cul-de-sac, but could they? Readers of Jennifer Hillier and Sandy Jones will love this propulsive read filled with twists and refreshing characters. Next slide. When Sparks Fly by Helena Hunting is a swoon-worthy read like The Friend Zone, filled with finding love in the darkest of times in the vein of How to Walk Away, but with Helena Hunting's trademark blend of heart and humor from Meet Cute. This is a charming, hilarious, and emotional story about Avery Spark. Her lifelong dream has been to run the hotel event space that was in her family for years, and that is exactly what she and her two sisters have been doing. But then her life changes when she gets in a car accident that leaves her immobile for weeks, and her best friend roommate Declan becomes her caretaker, leaving lines to blur. This is the start of a series that will leave readers wanting more from Avery and Declan and Avery and her two sisters. Next slide. The Missing Hours by Julia Dahl is a dark and riveting standalone that confronts the aftermath of a campus rape and the lengths that people will go to hide the truth. It's the gripping story of Claudia, who seems like she has it all from the outside. When she starts her freshman year at NYU, one drunken night changes everything, and Claudia is missing, leaving the whole city to piece together the hours of the night where it all began. Filled with jealousy, betrayal, and toxic friendships, this is perfect for fans of Luckiest Girl Alive, You, and Jar of Hearts. Next slide. A Taste for Poison, 11 Deadly Molecules and the Killers Who Use Them by Neil Bradbury. Jaw-dropping, fascinating, and spellbinding, this is an irresistible debut that is a combination of science, medicine, and true crime. The perfect blend of educational and murderous. Dive into some of the most infamous poison cases in history with historic records and current news headlines. This is great for fans of American Sherlock and the Nocturnal Brain. Next slide. The Death of Jane Lawrence by Caitlin Starling puts a new twist on classic horror tropes. Practical Jane decides she needs a husband, one who will allow her to remain independent and occupied with meaningful work. And she has found the perfect candidate. But when she unexpectedly shows up at his manor house on the night of their wedding, something is clearly wrong with her new husband. This is Ninth House meets Mexican Gothic and will be perfect for fans of Rebecca and the Haunting House, but with a feminist reimagining.
Hello Transcriber by debut author Hannah Morrissey follows a female police transcriber who dives into a murder investigation under the guise of doing research for the novel she's writing. But pretty soon, she is out of her depth. Hannah Morrissey actually worked as a police transcriber, so there is a great level of authenticity here and an unusual perspective on the standard crime novel. I highly recommend this to anyone who loves Tana French's blend of procedure and prose, or fans of Karen Slaughter's absorbing procedurals teeming with corruption and disturbing revelations. The Living and the Lost by Ellen Feldman. Millie and her brother escaped to the US just before Kristallnacht, leaving their parents and little sister in Berlin. Now they are both back in their former hometown, hoping to find their family. Living and working in bombed-out Berlin, a latter-day Wild West where the desperate prey on the unsuspecting, spies ply their trade, black markets thrive, and forbidden fraternization is rampant, Millie must come to terms with a past decision made in a moment of crisis. The Orphan Witch by Paige Crutcher is the perfect combination of fantasy, paranormal, and contemporary fiction. It's a magical tale about finding out who you really are with a touch of sisterhood, magic, and a family lost and found. Starring Persephone May, a loner her whole life starting when she was abandoned as an infant, unexplainable things always happen around her. She never gets too attached to anyone and is used to moving around. That is until an old friend invites her to an extremely unordinary island that may be exactly what she's been searching for. For fans of Midnight at the Blackbird Cafe and Paula Braxton, this is a story filled with curses, family feuds, and the love that saves all. Not Your Average Hot Guy by Gwenda Bond. This is Dorinda Jones's first Grave on the Right because it's a vibrant and unique paranormal romance. It's Lucifer because there's a sexy and witty demon, and it's The Roommate because it's a fresh and sparkling rom-com. Carefree Black Girls, a celebration of Black women in popular culture by Zeba Blay, is an exploration of Black women's identity and impact on pop culture. From a sharp cultural critic, this is not just an analysis, but also a celebration of the resilience of Black women in culture and society. The hashtag Carefree Black Girls started on Twitter as a way to support the women who are succeeding at what they do, and this book does exactly that. The essays focus on women, including Michelle Obama and Josephine Baker, and traces how their lives stand in opposition to the obstacles that have been placed in front of them. Single Black Female by Tracy Brown. This is a powerful romance at the core. It's Sex and the City meets Blackish from the author of White Lines, Twist, and Snapped. For fans of Ashley and Jaquavis, Queenie, and Such a Fun Age, this is the story of three friends who find their lives turned upside down. There's Ivy, the successful stylist, entrepreneur, and single mom who wants nothing more for herself while her son's father is serving a life sentence. Coco, the former model who can't seem to find a man that can give her everything she's wanted. And Deja, the real estate agent, happily married when her ex returns from a decades-long prison stint. This is a powerful examination of friendship, race, privilege, and motherhood. Never Fall for Your Fiancé by Virginia Heath. A handsome earl needs to hire a fake fiancé to keep his matchmaking mother at bay, but hilarity ensues. It's bringing down the Duke because there's a clever heroine and a handsome earl who can't resist her charms. It's the kiss quotient because there's a business arrangement that turns to love. And it's roomies because there's a fake engagement in close quarters. What could go wrong? Oh Beautiful by Jung Yoon. From the author of Shelter, Oh Beautiful is perfect for fans of women talking, The Night Tiger, and Want. Jung Yoon uses her Korean-American background in this Own Voices novel to tell the story of Eleanor Hansen, a journalist and former model who is embarking on her first big magazine assignment, which brings her to an evocative American town in North Dakota that welcomes a widely diverse mixture of people. But what it really is her birthplace, filled with years of unresolved trauma. This is a powerful and compelling narrative that touches on race, gender, and class, and what it means to be a woman in America. This Thing Between Us by Gus Moreno. In this debut, a widower battles grief, rage, and the mysterious evil inhabiting his smart speaker. Tiago's wife has died, and his world is now unbearable. On top of dealing with that, his smart speaker seems to have a mind of its own. He leaves their Chicago home and takes up residence in a secluded cabin in Colorado, but he soon realizes that there is no escape, not from his guilt, not from his rage, and not from the evil hunting him, feeding on his grief, determined to make its way into this world. Shelf Life, Chronicles of a Cairo Bookseller by Nadia Wassef, tells the heartwarming story of Egypt's first major independent bookstore that was founded by 3 young women with no business degrees, no formal training, and nothing to lose. Within 10 years, the store had become a rousing success, with 10 locations, 150 employees, and a fervent fan base. Shelf Life is a portrait of a country hurtling toward revolution, a feminist rallying cry, and an unapologetic crash course in running a business under the law of entropy. Above all, it is a celebration of the power of words to bring us home. Filled with a voice that is warm, funny, and forceful, this is a book for the hopeful and lovers of reading, as well as for fans of The Bookseller of Kabul and How to Find Love in a Bookshop. Jane Austen's Lost Letters by Jane K. Cleland. Jane Austen lovers rejoice. In this 14th installment of Jane K. Cleland's Josie Prescott Antiques series, Josie comes across undiscovered letters written by Jane Austen herself, left to Josie by her father. Searching for answers about not just the letters, but also her father, Josie finds herself in deep danger and learned that some people will do anything to keep a secret. This award-winning series continues to pull in fans, and Antique Blues, the previous book, received a Library Journal starred review calling it fascinating. So that is it with us. Thank you so much for listening.